The morning sun cast long shadows across the ancient stones of Westminster Abbey as security teams conducted their final sweeps through the historic building. It was a crisp autumn day in London, and the centuries-old Abbey was preparing to welcome some of its most distinguished visitors. The Prince and Princess of Wales, along with their 3 children, were expected to arrive within the hour for a special commemorative service that would mark an important milestone in British royal history. Inside the Abbey, staff members moved with practiced precision, adjusting flowers, checking sound equipment, and ensuring every detail was perfect. The Gothic architecture seemed to hold its breath in anticipation, as if the very stones remembered countless other royal occasions that had taken place within these sacred walls. From coronations to weddings, from state funerals to jubilee celebrations, Westminster Abbey had witnessed the most significant moments in British royal history for nearly 1,000 years. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, stood before her bedroom mirror in Kensington Palace, carefully selecting her outfit for the day. She understood the weight of every public appearance, knowing that her choices would be scrutinized by media around the world and remembered by royal historians for generations to come. The deep navy blue dress she had chosen was both elegant and appropriate for the solemn nature of the ceremony, with subtle details that honored British craftsmanship while maintaining the dignity expected of her position. Her lady-in-waiting helped with the final touches, ensuring that every aspect of her appearance was flawless. The princess's jewelry had been selected with particular care, pieces that carried both personal significance and historical weight. Each item told a story, connecting her to the long line of royal women who had come before her and establishing her place in the continuing narrative of the British monarchy. Meanwhile, Prince William was in his study, reviewing the details of the ceremony with his private secretary. As heir to the throne, his presence at such events carried additional significance beyond the familial importance. Every gesture, every word, every moment would be analyzed and interpreted by constitutional experts, royal commentators, and the general public. The weight of future kingship was always present, even in what might seem like routine royal duties. The prince was particularly focused on ensuring that his children would be comfortable and engaged throughout the ceremony. Prince George, as the future heir, was beginning to understand his unique position and the responsibilities that would one day be his. Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, while younger, were also learning about their roles within the royal family and the expectations that came with their birthright. In the nursery wing of Kensington Palace, the 3 young royals were being prepared for their public appearance. Their nanny had worked closely with Catherine to ensure that each child was appropriately dressed and understood what would be expected of them during the service. Prince George, now growing into his pre-teenage years, had developed a mature understanding of public events and the behavior required of him as a member of the royal family. Princess Charlotte, with her characteristic confidence and poise, was excited about the opportunity to wear one of her favorite dresses and to participate in such an important family occasion. Her natural charisma and engaging personality had already made her a favorite with the public, and she seemed to understand instinctively how to balance being a normal child with fulfilling her royal duties. Prince Louis, the youngest of the 3, was still learning about royal protocol but had shown remarkable adaptability for his age. His parents had been careful to introduce him gradually to public appearances, ensuring that he felt secure and supported while also understanding the importance of good behavior during formal occasions. The journey from Kensington Palace to Westminster Abbey would be made in the official royal vehicles, with security escorts ensuring safe passage through London's busy streets. The route had been planned carefully to provide opportunities for well-wishers to catch glimpses of the royal family while maintaining appropriate security measures. Police had coordinated with royal protection officers to create a seamless operation that would allow the family to travel with dignity and safety. As the motorcade prepared to depart, crowds had already begun gathering along the expected route. Royal enthusiasts, many of whom had traveled from across the United Kingdom and beyond, positioned themselves strategically to catch sight of the family. Some had brought flowers, others held small Union Jack flags, and many simply wanted to be part of this historic moment by witnessing the royal family's passage through the capital. The atmosphere in London was electric with anticipation. Local businesses along the route had decorated their storefronts with royal memorabilia and British flags, creating a festive atmosphere that celebrated both the occasion and the enduring popularity of the royal family. Television crews had positioned themselves at key vantage points, ready to broadcast the proceedings to audiences around the world. Inside Westminster Abbey, invited guests were taking their places according to carefully planned seating arrangements. Government officials, religious leaders, representatives from various charitable organizations, and members of the extended royal family had all gathered to participate in this significant ceremony. The Abbey's choir had been rehearsing for weeks, preparing musical selections that would enhance the spiritual and ceremonial aspects of the service. The Dean of Westminster and other senior clergy had worked closely with Buckingham Palace to ensure that every aspect of the ceremony reflected both religious tradition and royal protocol. The service would combine elements of worship with commemorative activities, creating an experience that honored the past while looking toward the future of the monarchy. As departure time approached, the royal family gathered in the entrance hall of Kensington Palace for final preparations. Catherine checked each of her children one last time, ensuring that their clothes were perfect and that they had everything they might need during the service. William reviewed the ceremony program with Prince George, helping him understand the sequence of events and his role in the proceedings. The family's coordination was evident in every detail, from their complementary color palette to their synchronized movements as they prepared to leave. This wasn't simply a matter of appearance. It reflected the careful planning and consideration that went into every public royal engagement. Nothing was left to chance, yet everything was designed to appear natural and effortless. Their household staff stood respectfully as the family prepared to depart, each member of the team having played a crucial role in ensuring the success of this public appearance. From the protection officers who had planned security arrangements to the stylists who had coordinated wardrobes, from the advance team that had prepared the Abbey to the drivers who would ensure safe transportation, dozens of people had worked behind the scenes to make this moment possible. The relationship between the royal family and their staff was one of mutual respect and professional dedication. Many of these individuals had served the monarchy for decades, understanding the unique requirements and pressures that came with royal life. Their expertise and discretion were essential components in the smooth functioning of royal duties and the maintaining of the monarchy's dignity and effectiveness. As they prepared to step into the public eye once again, each member of the family understood their individual role while also recognizing their collective responsibility as representatives of the crown. This balance between personal identity and public duty had been carefully cultivated over years of experience and training, creating a family unit that could function effectively under the intense scrutiny that accompanied royal life. The moment had arrived for their departure to Westminster Abbey, where history would once again unfold within the ancient walls that had witnessed so many pivotal moments in British royal and national history. As their vehicles pulled away from Kensington Palace, the royal family embarked on what would become another memorable chapter in their ongoing service to the nation and the Commonwealth. The royal motorcade moved smoothly through the streets of London, passing landmarks that had witnessed centuries of British history. Prince William sat quietly, occasionally pointing out significant buildings to his children and sharing brief historical anecdotes that brought the city's heritage to life. His own childhood memories of similar journeys with his parents and brother added a personal dimension to this formal occasion, creating layers of meaning that extended beyond the immediate ceremony. Catherine observed the crowds gathering along their route with genuine warmth and appreciation. She had never lost her sense of wonder at the public's enthusiasm for royal occasions, understanding that these moments represented more than mere ceremony for many people. For some, catching a glimpse of the royal family connected them to traditions that stretched back through generations of their own families, creating bonds between past and present that transcended social boundaries. The princess's approach to public appearances had evolved significantly since her early days as a royal family member. Initially nervous and uncertain about her role, she had developed into a confident and gracious public figure who understood both the privileges and responsibilities of her position. Her natural empathy and genuine interest in people had made her particularly effective in connecting with diverse communities across the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. Prince George watched the passing scenery with mature interest, his understanding of his future role continuing to develop with each public appearance. His parents had been careful to introduce him gradually to the expectations and responsibilities that would one day be his, ensuring that he could enjoy his childhood while also preparing for the unique path that lay ahead. The balance between normal family life and royal duties required constant attention and adjustment. The young prince had already shown remarkable composure during previous public engagements, demonstrating an intuitive understanding of appropriate behavior and and natural ability to connect with people of all ages. His education was being carefully planned to prepare him for future kingship, while ensuring that he developed into a well-rounded individual with broad interests and genuine compassion for others. Princess Charlotte's excitement was evident as she waved enthusiastically at the crowds, her natural charisma already making her a favorite with the public. Her confident personality and engaging smile had captured hearts around the world, and she seemed to understand instinctively how to balance royal dignity with childhood spontaneity. Her parents encouraged this natural warmth while also teaching her about the importance of appropriate behavior during formal occasions. The princess's relationship with her brothers reflected the close family bonds that William and Catherine had worked hard to maintain despite the pressures of royal life. The siblings supported each other during public appearances, with the older children helping to guide and encourage their younger brother when needed. This family unity was evident to observers and contributed to their positive public reception. Prince Louis, despite his young age, had adapted remarkably well to public appearances. His parents had been particularly careful about his introduction to royal duties, ensuring that his experiences remained positive and age-appropriate. His natural curiosity and friendly personality had already won over the public, and his interactions with crowds had provided some of the most memorable moments of recent royal engagements. The youngest prince's development within the royal family was being watched with particular interest by royal observers, as his generation would represent the future of the monarchy in a rapidly changing world. His parents were determined that he and his siblings would be prepared for their roles while also having the freedom to develop their own interests and personalities. As the motorcade approached Westminster Abbey, the crowds grew larger and more enthusiastic. Barriers had been erected to manage the gathering spectators, but the atmosphere remained festive and welcoming. Police officers and security personnel maintained order while allowing the public to express their enthusiasm for the royal family. The balance between security and accessibility required careful coordination and ongoing assessment throughout the journey. The site of Westminster Abbey always carried special significance for members of the royal family, as the building had been the site of so many important moments in their personal and official lives. William's memories of his parents' wedding and his own marriage to Catherine were intertwined with the Abbey's long history of royal ceremonies. The building represented continuity and tradition while also adapting to serve contemporary needs. For Catherine, Westminster Abbey held particular meaning as the place where she had married William in a ceremony watched by millions around the world. That occasion had marked her formal entry into the royal family and the beginning of her journey as a senior working royal. The Abbey had witnessed her transformation from a private citizen to a global figure, and returning there for significant occasions always carried emotional resonance. The children's understanding of Westminster Abbey's importance was developing with each visit, as their parents shared age-appropriate stories about the building's history and its role in royal life. These educational moments were woven naturally into family conversations, helping the young royals appreciate their heritage while maintaining their connection to contemporary life. As their vehicles approached the Abbey's entrance, the family could see the crowds that had gathered to witness their arrival. The enthusiasm of the waiting spectators was both heartwarming and humbling, representing a tradition of public support for the monarchy that had endured through changing times and circumstances. The royal family never took this support for granted, understanding that it must be earned and maintained through dedicated service and genuine engagement with the people they served. The final preparations for their arrival were taking place inside the Abbey, where clergy, officials, and invited guests were making last-minute adjustments to ensure everything proceeded smoothly. The coordination required for such events involved dozens of people working behind the scenes, each contributing their expertise to create a seamless and dignified ceremony that would honor both tradition and the significance of the occasion. Television crews from around the world had positioned themselves to capture the royal family's arrival and participation in the ceremony. The global interest in British royal events reflected the monarchy's continuing relevance and the fascination that the royal family generated across different cultures and societies. This international attention carried both opportunities and responsibilities for the family members involved. The security arrangements for the event represented the culmination of weeks of planning and coordination between multiple agencies. From advanced reconnaissance to real-time monitoring, from crowd control to emergency preparedness, every aspect of safety and security had been thoroughly addressed. The goal was to allow the ceremony to proceed naturally while ensuring that all participants and spectators remained safe throughout the proceedings. Inside the abbey, the atmosphere was one of respectful anticipation. Guests had been arriving throughout the morning, taking their assigned seats, and participating in the pre-ceremony activities that helped create the appropriate mood for the service. The combination of religious devotion, historical awareness, and contemporary relevance made these occasions uniquely meaningful for all involved. The clergy had prepared carefully for their roles in the ceremony, understanding that their actions would be observed and remembered by people around the world. The religious aspects of the service needed to be authentic and meaningful while also accommodating the ceremonial and constitutional elements that made royal occasions distinctive. This balance required both theological understanding and practical wisdom. As the royal motorcade came to a stop outside Westminster Abbey, the moment had arrived for the family to step into the public spotlight once again. Their preparation, both practical and emotional, had been thorough, but the reality of public attention always brought its own unique energy and challenges. Each family member was ready to fulfill their role in this historic ceremony, contributing to another chapter in the ongoing story of the British monarchy and its service to the nation and Commonwealth. The moment the royal family's vehicles came to a complete stop outside Westminster Abbey, a wave of excitement rippled through the assembled crowd. Camera flashes began immediately, creating a constellation of lights that reflected off the ancient stone facade of the building. The timing was perfect, as the autumn afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the proceedings, creating the kind of atmospheric lighting that photographers dream of capturing during significant royal events. Prince William was the first to emerge from the lead vehicle, his movements confident and measured as he had learned through years of public appearances. He paused briefly to acknowledge the crowd with a subtle wave and a genuine smile, understanding that these moments of connection were important for maintaining the relationship between the monarchy and the people. His naval uniform, chosen specifically for this ceremony, reflected both his military service and his position within the royal hierarchy. The prince's bearing demonstrated the careful balance he had learned to maintain between accessibility and dignity. His approach to public appearances had been shaped by lessons learned from his parents, particularly his father's emphasis on duty and his mother's natural warmth with people. William had developed his own style that honored both influences while remaining authentically himself. Catherine appeared next, stepping gracefully from the vehicle with the poise that had become her trademark during public appearances. Her navy blue dress moved elegantly as she walked, and her choice of accessories had been perfectly coordinated to complement both the formality of the occasion and the significance of the venue. The princess's approach to royal fashion had evolved to reflect both contemporary style and respect for tradition. Her interaction with the crowd was immediate and genuine, as she took time to acknowledge the enthusiastic reception with warm smiles and graceful waves. Catherine's natural ease with people had become one of her greatest assets as a working member of the royal family. Her ability to connect with individuals while managing the demands of large public gatherings required both emotional intelligence and practical skills that she had developed through experience. The children's emergence from the vehicles was carefully orchestrated to ensure their comfort while allowing the public to see them clearly. Prince George, demonstrating maturity beyond his years, walked confidently beside his parents, occasionally looking up at them for reassurance, but generally appearing comfortable with the attention. His understanding of his role during public appearances had developed significantly, and his natural composure was evident to all observers. Princess Charlotte's entrance was marked by her characteristic confidence and charm. She waved enthusiastically at the crowd, her bright smile capturing the hearts of spectators and photographers alike. Her natural charisma had already made her a favorite with the public, and she seemed to understand instinctively how to balance royal protocol with childhood spontaneity. Her parents' careful guidance was evident in her poised but age-appropriate behavior. Prince Louis, despite being the youngest, showed remarkable composure as he joined his family for the walk toward the Abbey entrance. His parents had positioned themselves strategically to provide support and guidance while allowing him to experience the public attention in a positive way. His curious glances at the crowd and occasional shy smiles provided some of the most endearing moments of the arrival sequence. The family's coordination as they moved together toward Westminster Abbey was striking in its natural flow. Years of public appearances had taught them how to maintain their individual personalities while functioning as a cohesive unit during formal occasions. Their movements reflected both careful preparation and genuine family bonds, creating an image that resonated with observers around the world. Security personnel moved discreetly around the perimeter of the family's path, their presence noticeable but not intrusive. The coordination between royal protection officers and local police had been planned meticulously to ensure safety while allowing maximum public access to this historic moment. The balance between security and openness required constant assessment and adjustment throughout the proceedings. The Dean of Westminster and senior clergy waited at the Abbey's entrance to greet the royal family formally. This receiving line represented centuries of tradition while adapting to contemporary requirements for royal ceremonies. The religious leaders' preparation for this moment had included coordination with palace officials to ensure that all protocols were observed appropriately while maintaining the spiritual significance of the occasion. Media representatives from around the world captured every moment of the arrival, understanding that their images and reports would reach global audiences and become part of the historical record. The international interest in British royal events reflected the monarchy's continuing relevance and the fascination that the royal family generated across different cultures and societies. This attention carried both opportunities and responsibilities for everyone involved. As the family approached the Abbey's entrance, the magnificent Gothic architecture provided a spectacular backdrop for their arrival. The building's towers and flying buttresses, crafted by medieval artisans, created a sense of timelessness that connected this contemporary ceremony with centuries of royal tradition. The visual impact of the royal family against this historic setting was both powerful and moving. The sound of church bells began to ring out across London, their ancient voices announcing the royal family's arrival to the city and beyond. These same bells had marked countless significant moments in British history, from royal weddings to coronations, from victories to commemorations. Their resonant tones added another layer of meaning to the proceedings, connecting past and present in a continuous narrative of national life. Inside the Abbey, guests rose to their feet as word of the royal family's arrival reached them. The atmosphere was one of respectful excitement, with representatives from government, military, charitable organizations, and religious communities preparing to participate in this significant ceremony. Their presence reflected the broad range of institutions and individuals that the monarchy served and supported. The Abbey's choir had positioned themselves for the processional that would mark the royal family's entrance into the main body of the building. Their preparation had included weeks of rehearsal, ensuring that the musical elements of the ceremony would enhance the spiritual and ceremonial aspects of the occasion. The combination of ancient liturgical music with contemporary compositions created a program that honored tradition while remaining relevant to modern worship. Prince George's awareness of the significance of the moment was evident in his careful attention to protocol and his obvious pride in being part of this important family occasion. His parents had prepared him thoroughly for his role, explaining not only what would be expected of him, but also why these ceremonies mattered for the monarchy and the nation. His mature response to these responsibilities suggested a young person who was beginning to understand his future role. Princess Charlotte's natural confidence continued to shine as she prepared to enter the Abbey. Her ability to combine royal dignity with childhood enthusiasm had made her particularly popular with the public, and she seemed to thrive in situations that allowed her to meet new people and experience significant occasions. Her parents' guidance was evident in her poised behavior, but her genuine personality remained clearly visible. Prince Louis received additional support and encouragement from both parents as they prepared for the formal entrance into Westminster Abbey. His young age required special consideration, but his adaptability and friendly nature had served him well during previous public appearances. The family's protective but inclusive approach allowed him to participate meaningfully while ensuring his comfort throughout the proceedings. The moment had arrived for the royal family to enter Westminster Abbey and take their places for the ceremony that would mark another significant chapter in their ongoing service to the nation and Commonwealth. Their preparation, both visible and behind the scenes, had been thorough and professional, but the genuine family bonds and personal relationships remained at the heart of their public representation. As they stepped across the threshold of the ancient building, they carried with them the hopes and expectations of people around the world while remaining true to their individual characters and collective mission as members of the British royal family. The processional into Westminster Abbey was a moment of profound beauty and historical significance that would remain etched in the memories of all who witnessed it. As the royal family crossed the threshold of the ancient building, they entered a space that had been consecrated for nearly 1,000 years and had witnessed some of the most important moments in British history. The weight of this heritage was palpable in every step they took along the nave toward their designated places. The abbey's interior, illuminated by a combination of natural light filtering through medieval stained glass windows and carefully placed ceremonial lighting, created an atmosphere that was both majestic and intimate. The Gothic architecture soared above them, its vertical lines drawing the eye heavenward and creating a sense of transcendence that enhanced the spiritual significance of the occasion. Every architectural detail, from the carved stone capitals to the intricate wooden choir stalls, spoke of centuries of devotion and craftsmanship. Prince William led his family with the measured pace that royal protocol required, but his demeanor remained warm and accessible as he acknowledged various guests along their path. His understanding of the ceremony's significance extended beyond its immediate importance to encompass its role in the continuing narrative of constitutional monarchy and public service. The prince's military bearing reflected his own service while honoring the traditions that connected him to previous generations of British royalty. The congregation rose as the royal family processed through the abbey, their respectful attention reflecting the ceremony's importance while also demonstrating the genuine affection that the family commanded among diverse communities. Representatives from government, military, charitable organizations, and religious communities had gathered to participate in this significant occasion, their presence reflecting the broad range of institutions and individuals that the monarchy served and supported. Catherine's grace and composure during the processional exemplified the dignity and accessibility that had made her such an effective member of the royal family. Her acknowledgement of the congregation was genuine and warm, reflecting her understanding that royal ceremonies were not merely formal occasions, but opportunities to strengthen the bonds between the monarchy and the people. Her natural empathy and sincere interest in others had become hallmarks of her public service. The princess's approach to royal duties had evolved significantly since her marriage, developing from initial uncertainty to confident leadership in various charitable and social initiatives. Her work had demonstrated that modern royal service required not only traditional ceremonial functions, but also active engagement with contemporary challenges and opportunities. Her presence at Westminster Abbey represented both continuity with historical precedent and adaptation to contemporary needs. Prince George walked with remarkable composure for someone of his age, his understanding of the occasion's significance evident in his careful attention to protocol and his obvious pride in participating in this important family event. His parents had prepared him thoroughly for his role, explaining not only what would be expected of him, but also why these ceremonies mattered for the monarchy and the nation. His mature response to these responsibilities suggested a young person who was beginning to understand his future role. The young prince's education was being carefully managed to prepare him for future kingship, while ensuring that he developed into a well-rounded individual with broad interests and genuine compassion for others. His appearances at events like this Westminster Abbey ceremony served multiple purposes, introducing him gradually to royal duties, allowing the public to observe his development, and providing him with direct experience of the traditions and responsibilities he would one day inherit. Princess Charlotte's natural confidence and charm were evident throughout the processional, as she balanced royal dignity with age-appropriate enthusiasm. Her ability to connect with people had already made her a favorite with the public, and she seemed to understand instinctively how to navigate the complex requirements of royal protocol while remaining genuinely herself. Her parents' guidance was clearly effective, but her own personality remained distinctly visible. The princess's development within the royal family was being watched with particular interest, as she represented a new generation of royal women who would help define the monarchy's future direction. Her education and preparation were designed to provide her with the skills and understanding necessary for effective royal service while allowing her to pursue her own interests and develop her individual talents and capabilities. Prince Louis, despite his young age, demonstrated remarkable adaptability as he participated in this significant ceremony. His parents had positioned themselves to provide support and guidance while allowing him to experience the grandeur and importance of the occasion in an age-appropriate way. His curious observations and occasional interactions with family members provided moments of natural warmth that humanized the formal proceedings. The youngest prince's introduction to royal duties was being managed with particular care to ensure that his experiences remained positive and developmentally appropriate. His parents understood that early impressions of royal life would significantly influence his future relationship with public service, and they were determined to create associations that would support his long-term effectiveness and personal satisfaction as a member of the royal family. As the family reached their designated places within the abbey, the formal ceremony began with musical selections that had been chosen to reflect both the occasion's significance and its connection to broader themes of service, dedication, and national unity. The abbey's choir, accompanied by the historic organ, filled the ancient space with music that had been composed specifically for royal occasions, while also including traditional hymns and anthems that connected the ceremony to centuries of British worship and celebration. The musical program represented months of preparation and coordination between the abbey's musical director, palace officials, and the clergy responsible for the ceremony's religious elements. Each selection had been chosen not only for its aesthetic beauty, but also for its theological and ceremonial appropriateness, creating a program that enhanced both the spiritual and constitutional aspects of the occasion. The Dean of Westminster began the formal proceedings with words that acknowledged the ceremony's historical significance while emphasizing its contemporary relevance for the monarchy and the nation. His preparation for this moment had included extensive consultation with theological scholars, constitutional experts, and palace advisors to ensure that every element of the service reflected appropriate understanding of both religious tradition and royal protocol. The congregation's participation in the ceremony created a sense of shared purpose and national unity that extended far beyond the abbey's walls. Through television and digital media, millions of people around the world were able to participate virtually in this significant moment, creating connections between the immediate ceremony and global communities that maintained interest in and affection for the British royal family. The children's behavior throughout the ceremony demonstrated both excellent preparation and natural grace under pressure. Their parents' careful guidance and support were evident, but each child's individual personality remained clearly visible as they participated in this important family and national occasion. Their presence added a dimension of hope and continuity that looked toward the monarchy's future while honoring its past. The ceremony's progression through traditional elements of worship, commemoration, and celebration created multiple layers of meaning that resonated with different participants and observers in various ways. For some, the religious aspects were primary. For others, the constitutional significance was most important, and, for many, the family dynamics and personal relationships provided the most compelling elements of the occasion. As the formal elements of the ceremony continued, the royal family's participation reflected both their individual personalities and their collective commitment to the principles and traditions that defined their service to the nation and Commonwealth. Their presence at Westminster Abbey represented not only fulfillment of ceremonial duties but also affirmation of the values and relationships that sustain the monarchy's continuing relevance in contemporary society. The ceremony reached its most profound moments as the Dean of Westminster delivered readings that connected the immediate occasion to broader themes of service, duty, and the enduring relationship between the monarchy and the people of the United Kingdom and Commonwealth. His words resonated throughout the ancient abbey, their meaning enhanced by the historic setting and the presence of the royal family, who embodied the living continuation of traditions that stretched back through centuries of British history. Prince William's attention during the formal readings reflected his deep understanding of the constitutional and spiritual dimensions of his role within the monarchy. His position as heir to the throne required him to comprehend not only the practical aspects of royal duty, but also the philosophical and theological foundations that sustained the institution he would one day lead. His thoughtful engagement with the ceremony's content demonstrated the serious preparation he had undertaken for his future responsibilities. The prince's relationship with Westminster Abbey was particularly meaningful, as the building had been the site of many pivotal moments in his personal and official life. From his parents' wedding to his own marriage to Catherine, from memorial services to celebratory occasions, the Abbey had provided the backdrop for experiences that had shaped his understanding of royal service and personal commitment. Each return to this sacred space carried layers of memory and significance. Catherine's participation in the ceremony reflected her evolution from a private citizen to a senior working member of the royal family who understood both the privileges and responsibilities of her position. Her presence beside William represented not only personal partnership, but also the modernization of the monarchy to include individuals chosen for their character and capabilities rather than their birth or status. Her journey had inspired many people around the world who saw in her story possibilities for positive change and personal growth. The princess's attention to the ceremony's religious elements demonstrated her sincere engagement with the spiritual dimensions of royal service. Her understanding that the monarchy's authority derived from more than constitutional arrangement or popular support included appreciation for the sacred aspects of royal duty that connected earthly service to higher purposes and eternal values. Her faith had become an increasingly important element of her public identity and private strength. Prince George's behavior throughout the ceremony continued to demonstrate his remarkable maturity and understanding of the occasion's significance. His careful attention to the proceedings, combined with his appropriate responses to different elements of the service, suggested a young person who was beginning to grasp the complex relationships between personal identity, family responsibility, and public service that would define his future role as king. The young prince's education and royal duties extended far beyond formal ceremonial occasions to include regular discussions about the monarchy's history, its current functions, and its future challenges. His parents were committed to ensuring that he understood not only what would be expected of him, but also why these expectations existed and how they had evolved over time to serve changing national and international circumstances. Princess Charlotte's engagement with the ceremony reflected her natural confidence and intelligence as she followed the proceedings with genuine interest while maintaining the dignified behavior appropriate for such a formal occasion. Her ability to balance childhood curiosity with royal protocol had become increasingly evident during public appearances, suggesting a young person who would be well-equipped to handle the unique pressures and opportunities of royal life. The princess's development was being watched with particular interest by those who understood that she represented a new generation of royal women who would help define the monarchy's future character and effectiveness. Her education and preparation were designed to provide her with options and capabilities that would allow her to contribute meaningfully to royal service while pursuing her own interests and developing her individual talents. Prince Louis, despite his young age, had adapted remarkably well to the formal atmosphere of Westminster Abbey and the extended duration of the ceremonial service. His parents' careful preparation and ongoing support were evident in his calm demeanor and appropriate behavior, but his natural personality also showed through in moments of curiosity and quiet interaction with his siblings. His presence added a dimension of family warmth to the formal proceedings. The youngest prince's experience of this ceremony would become part of his earliest memories of royal service and family tradition, potentially influencing his future relationship with public duties and his understanding of the monarchy's role in national life. His parents were particularly attentive to ensuring that these early experiences created positive associations with royal responsibility rather than burden or resentment. As the ceremony progressed through its various elements, including musical selections, readings, prayers, and commemorative moments, the Abbey's atmosphere became increasingly charged with emotion and significance. The combination of ancient tradition and contemporary relevance created a unique environment in which past and present converged to illuminate future possibilities for the monarchy and the nation it served. The congregation's participation in hymns and responses created a sense of shared purpose and collective commitment that extended beyond the immediate ceremony to encompass broader themes of national unity and common values. Representatives from diverse communities and institutions joined their voices in expressions of faith, loyalty, and hope that transcended individual differences and emphasized shared humanity and common aspirations. The Abbey's choir continued to provide musical accompaniment that enhanced both the spiritual and ceremonial aspects of the service, their preparation and skill evident in performances that honored centuries of English choral tradition while remaining accessible to contemporary worshippers. The combination of ancient melodies and modern arrangements created a musical environment that supported both meditation and celebration. Television cameras and photographers captured every significant moment of the ceremony while remaining respectfully unobtrusive, their work ensuring that this historic occasion would be preserved for future generations and shared with global audiences who maintained interest in and affection for the British royal family. The technical challenges of documenting such events required careful coordination and professional expertise. As the formal elements of the ceremony approached their conclusion, the royal family prepared for the final processional that would mark their departure from Westminster Abbey. The transition from sacred service to public appearance required careful management to maintain the dignity of both religious worship and royal protocol while allowing for natural family interactions and public acknowledgement. The ceremony's conclusion brought together all the themes and elements that had been woven throughout the service. The importance of tradition and continuity, the relevance of royal service to contemporary challenges, the strength of family bonds in supporting public duty, and the enduring relationship between the monarchy and the people of Britain and the Commonwealth. These connections would resonate long after the immediate occasion had ended. The royal family's preparation for their departure from Westminster Abbey involved both practical considerations related to security and transportation and emotional processing of the ceremony's significance for their individual and collective understanding of royal service. Each member of the family would carry different memories and impressions from this occasion, but all would share the experience of participating in another chapter of the ongoing story of the British monarchy. As they prepared to return to public view for their departure from the Abbey, the family members took final moments to ensure their appearance was appropriate, and their demeanor reflected both the solemnity of the ceremony they had just experienced and the warmth they wanted to convey to the waiting crowds. The balance between dignity and accessibility remained a constant consideration in all their public interactions. The conclusion of this Westminster Abbey ceremony represented not an ending but a continuation of the royal family's ongoing service to the nation and Commonwealth, their commitment to the traditions and values that sustain the monarchy, and their dedication to adapting ancient institutions to serve contemporary needs while maintaining the essential characteristics that made them valuable and relevant to people around the world.